Hello, this is Anthony. Let's walk and talk. So today we're going to talk about a very, very powerful word. And no, that word is not no. The powerful word that we're going to talk about is the word why. You see, in the past we talked about shifting from one energy into another, and how you have to release the energy of the old you in order to receive the energy of the new you. Now we're going to talk about why the word why can be a very powerful activator on that journey. Now, the thing about the word why and why it can be so powerful, hopefully I don't say why every five words, is because it focuses you on aspects of you that are not authentically you. And you're going to say, what do I mean by that? Well, what I mean by that is when you start questioning everything in your life, when you start questioning why you have certain beliefs, why you attach to certain things, why you try to create a specific identity, why you continue to fail at different things, aspects in your life, from work to relationships to a great number of things. You see, when you get to a point where you are ready to make that change, when you want to start figuring out really who are you, why is very powerful. You see, I remember being a child, and children are amazing at this. And I truly believe that the reason that children are amazing at this is because as a fresh soul, when you incarnate here, especially when you are kind of see right here, are kind of reaching the new plane with the purity of who you really are. You ask a lot of whys because you want to know. I'm a free being and you want me to do this. Why? You tell me not to do this. Why? And the why is really meant to define the purpose for whatever the requirement or the request is. It's meant to better outline the control function of why someone is giving you instruction. You see, for instance, if you go to the edge of a cliff and you say don't jump, and someone says why, well then you have an explanation. Well, because on this plane gravity applies. If you jump off this cliff, you'll die, or you'll hurt yourself really badly. I mean, now asking that why, that gives you a reason as to the command or the request. But when you are sitting at your house and let's say you've got your room the way you want it, and someone says, hey, you should change your room. Why? Well, that why is because you put yourself in a position where you felt comfortable, and someone else is trying to command you to do something other than what you're trying to do. And so there's purpose in that. But the real reason that why is such a powerful question when you're on this journey, when you're trying to change yourself and evolve, is because you can use it to better understand ego. You can use it to better understand the things inside of you that are not you. You can use it to better understand and become more vulnerable, more authentic. And the reason for this is by asking that word why to yourself, it puts you in that position where you have to really go back and answer these belief systems. You see, a lot of times you'll hear people, let's use religion as a perfect example. Ego loves identity. It loves labels. It loves to attach things because those things create separation. You see, what most people don't understand, we've talked about this a lot, is, without separation, it's more difficult to have an individual experience and to really evolve individually from a soul perspective on this journey. So the ego likes attachments and it likes labels because what it does is it creates separation. It helps you to discover who is on your side and who's against you, who's your enemy. It creates all of these vehicles in order to keep things and people apart. And you see, the reason that this is important is because then it allows itself to group with other like-minded, quote-unquote, individuals in terms of what they believe. The problem with that is that most people don't understand that if you go down that rabbit hole, you might agree on one thing, but there may be 10 things after that you don't agree on, that the one thing doesn't really matter anymore. I use religion as a perfect example. People like to point to something outside of themselves as for why they made a change and it worked. And religion's a perfect example of that. You see, somebody can decide one day, you know what, I go out and I drink and I stay out and party late and I don't want to be that person anymore. So, or they do something really bad, so then they go to church and they find religion. And in that religion they say, this is what changed me. They don't give themselves any credit for having done the things and made the choices to evolve and to adjust and evolve. They give their power away to something else, you see. But that's a slippery slope, because in giving your power away, then what you're actually doing is you're actually saying, I want to be controlled and I am controllable. And what ends up happening then is, because you don't like the fact that you gave your power away, you start to try to control other aspects of your life because you gave up control in one area of your life, rather than just taking control of all of your life, taking responsibility for the being that you are, the being you want to be, and then empowering yourself to do those things. You see, and I'm not knocking religion in this, but it's important because when a being puts salvation outside of self, then what they're essentially saying is, this world that we live in is I'm a victim. I'm floating like this little bag here in the wind, this little piece of plastic, and I have no ability to choose for self. And that is a very weak position to be in. That is why the vast majority of people find themselves in victim mode, because they don't want to be empowered, because they're afraid if I become empowered and I make a decision and it turns out bad, then I have to be responsible for that. And when you understand that, then you understand that that's part of the accountability aspect that most people don't want in their life. But when you want the empowerment, then you start to go down that path. And the why is such a powerful thing, because when you start to go down that path to understanding self and wanting to be empowered, you start asking why all the time. You ask, why do I think this? Why do I believe this? Why do I choose to follow this path? Why do I choose to be in this relationship? Why do I choose to stay in this job? The why question is a infinite and never-ending question that can help you to shape and understand self until you can even reach a point where you're allowing more consciousness in, where you're becoming more of your true authentic self, where you're not concerned about the thoughts and beliefs of others, because you've moved past all of those mechanisms that have locked you into a specific identity. So it's important to understand that even as a child, why is a natural question for a child, because they're curious. But as you grow and evolve and you are on this plane longer, we stop asking why. And we just start going along with the narrative. We just start going along with the story, because we've been programmed and manipulated to not ask the why any longer. But you see, asking why is a natural curiosity. It's a natural question. And if children do it, why would we not continue to do it throughout our lives? You see, if more people asked why, there'd be a lot of less quote-unquote bad things on the planet. And I say that Not that there, as we talked about in a past video, about good or bad, good and bad, and that there is no good and bad, there just is. The reason that's important is because when you start asking why, you start to better understand self. When you better understand self, you start to better understand the experience you're having. And when you can do that, you become more empowered to change how you view and see everything in the world. You change the programming of your mind. You change the neurons, the neural pathways to shape into different experiences. And then when you do that, you have different experiences. And then when you have those different experiences, guess what? That's right. Life becomes new, life becomes exciting, and life becomes magical. But what say you? How do you feel about that? Do you think that why is a powerful question? Do you still ask yourself why? Or have you fallen into that trap of, I can't ask why because everybody will look at me funny. It's not going with the narrative. Everybody will see me as different, and the world will feel unsafe. It's an interesting to ponder. But what say you? I mean, I'm very interested in your thoughts on this. As always, if you enjoy this content, please like, share, and subscribe. I'm truly grateful. Until I talk to you again, peace, love, light. Hope you have the most amazing day.